Oh, I see.
How's it going, guys? Today we're down in Ocala, Florida, out with Force 4 training. We're on the 1,000-yard range out here, and this is the targets that we have viewed out here. I'm reviewing the LWRC REPR. Everybody was schwacking this fucking target today, and it was pretty neat. And I have witnesses. This dude's my spotter. That's my handiwork.
Yep.
On a 16-inch plate at 1,000. The REPR's fucking worth it, guys.
Nice. Thanks, sir. No, no.
Send it.
It might have been an impact. I didn't see any splash. I think the gong is moving.
Well, guys, it's been a while, but I'm back, and I'm actually coming back with some real good content that I'm putting out over the course of the next couple of months. Welcome to the Regular Guy Firearms channel, guys, and today we're going over the LWRC REPR. Now, this particular rifle is a short-stroke piston-driven system in .308 caliber, which basically means that it is a part of the AR-10 variety of guns. The purpose of this rifle, as you can probably see here, is that it is designed to be a semi-automatic sniper system, or a SAS. Okay, we're going to go over a lot of things about this gun. We're going to go over the reasons that you would need it and where its actual capabilities blend into its purpose. Up front here we have a Surefire dual port brake. This is actually an off-the-rack gun. So other than the bipod, the monopod, and the scope, this is a 100% stock rifle. Now, this Surefire dual port brake, for those of you guys who have been around and have looked at different brakes and compensators and stuff like that, it makes the rifle absolutely loud as shit. The concussion is actually quite annoying if you're another shooter on the line, or if you're a spotter that happens to lay down next to a dude that's shooting this. So spotters are forced behind and above the shooter. But as far as a compensator, strictly a compensator, this thing truly zeroes out muzzle rise, and it truly knocks off a lot of the recoil. I would just go ahead and guess that based on other .308 rifles that I've shot in the past, it's a good 40% reduction in muzzle rise and the sharpness of your recoil as well, which is a big deal on a full-size round if you're trying to witness the splash of a round at a long distance. Splash of individual rounds that hit are very important to see if you either don't have a spotter available, or just to have another set of eyes in case your spotter misses it or loses the trace of the round, what have you. So this absolutely helps, and it's fixed via a peel washer, which in its own right, as far as precision equipment is concerned, peel washers are the way to go if you're going to install muzzle devices. Alright, I truly hope you can see this, but the gas system in this thing for the piston has 4 different adjustments. The first being your standard setting. You also have a suppressed setting, an adverse condition setting, and then you also have your setting that nulls it out or turns off the gas system, not allowing for moving parts. The ability to turn off a gas system on this particular rifle, in my personal opinion, while it makes sense that they put it in there in the first place, in a lot of ways it's honestly just not needed. The Freefloat rail system on this rifle is very useful in that it does function very well as a Freefloat rail system. You can attach rail sections to it, but it's not a must. You don't have to tote around the extra weight and the hand carving panels that a lot of rifle companies put out. Like, for instance, if I was to carry around something like the DD M4 V1, okay, I understand that there's other variants out there, but there's a lot of rail system on there. Now, it gives you the versatility of immediately being able to bolt on things, but a lot of people can honestly say that they don't use the vast majority of their rails. So the ability to attach rail sections wherever you need them is a huge plus. And not having them there when you don't need them there cuts down on weight. And weight is actually a significant portion of your decision-making process, at least in my mind, on something like a stapled down position AR-10 that's meant to shoot at 800 and 1,000 yards, and is something that you would carry on a hunt, specifically because the bitches get heavy. Precision, anything, gets very heavy over time. Alright, now we're going to go over controls. Controls on this guy are actually very, very useful. You can see that there's an ambidextrous bolt lock and release here. Not all rifle companies with ambi controls go all the way on the ambi controls. And you can actually see that here, because it doesn't do that in two categories. Stock, anyway. One, your safety is right-handed only, which, as a precision shooter, it doesn't matter too terribly much, because I don't grip my hand all the way around the pistol grip when I'm getting ready to shoot off of bipods anyway. And honestly, another thing that it doesn't do this is with the charging handle. Now, the charging handle is real nice because it makes it easier for you to run it if you're a lefty. And something else that I also noticed too, when you're in a position and you're using your little beanbag or whatever you want to use to brace the rear of your stock, as a lefty, I'm using my support hand to sneak up under this and support the beanbag, squeezing it or whatever I need to do. And in another sense, I'm also messing with the foot on the stock also. So having it to where the charging handle is on the left-hand side of the gun helps me out as a lefty, because if I have to work the bolt or whatever I need to do, I can just take my hand off of fire control and run that bolt, instead of pulling my hand off of the support side and running the bolt. Where this becomes a problem is the rest of the world. Right-handed guys have to understand that if you have to work the bolt with this rifle, you're gonna lose your support. So it's something you want to keep in mind. As a lefty, I fucking love it, but it is what it is. Now, you may have looked at this rifle and have wondered where's the forward assist on the thing. Other than the fact that forward assists, in my personal opinion, are useless, they still manage to go ahead and adjust for this in the charging handle itself. Because you can run the charging handle as you see it here, but if you have the bolt stuck out of battery or whatever you need to do and you have to use a forward assist, all you do is simply push down on the forward assist on the charging handle, and you can feel the spring tension, that it feels kind of like a button there. You push down on it, and that's your forward assist. All you have to do is push down and then forward, and that's how that acts. Very integrated system. They don't add on extra things other than a spring in this charging handle, and honestly, I think it's a vast improvement over current systems that are out there. Now again, this is an off-the-rack gun, so stuff like furniture is actually rather important on a stock gun that you want to take out of the box and start shooting stuff far away with. This comes with the fully adjustable and heavy as fuck Magpul Precision Rifle Stock, or the PRS, as well as a Mo grip. Now, personally, I love this furniture combination simply because it's nice and comfortable on the body. It doesn't It's very slick. You don't have parts on here that stick to you. I personally don't like parts that stick to me on rifles and stuff like that, mainly because in my personal opinion and in my personal experience, it's a little bit more difficult to figure out exactly where I'm at. If I get nice and comfortable in a wrong position, it feels right, and I'm going to shoot wrong. So on stuff like this where it feels a little bit more smooth, but you still have a little bit of traction in there, you can figure out exactly where you need to be, and you can figure out whether or not you're exactly squared and doing what you have to do on the position side of the house. But again, that's my personal opinion. So if you don't like the Magpul PRS, there are things that you can do to replace these plates or the recoil pad, or you can throw recoil pads on there. The new Magpul grip set are rubbery now, so you can make changes to this. But my personal opinion, as the rifle comes stock, it works great. Here's also a question that a lot of people just kind of ignore or not have on their rifles. Okay, a good set of stock iron sights that are flip up and down and stuff like that are actually very important on a long distance rifle. The main reason being is not just that, hey, your scope could take a shit or whatever it needs to do, but the fact of the matter also remains is that if you're running around with a rifle that you intend to either use on a hunt or use in combat as like a SWAT operator that's doing the long distance work, or anything that's billeted around using the thing other than simply target shooting, a set of iron sights that are tough, that are hard to break, and that lock solidly, that fit very tightly onto the 1913 sections, is something that's rather important. So it is something that I personally would consider and that I would personally put on an AR-10. And the fact that these come stock from LWRC and that they're tough, they're clear, and they're easy to adjust makes the rifle more desirable in my personal opinion. So now here comes the two rough questions. Is it reliable? And is it able to do the job that is described? Now, reliability is not on the same level that I had previously tested. And let me rephrase that by saying, I'm not saying that it wasn't reliable. I'm saying I did not fire 1,000 rounds of .308 through this gun for two reasons. One, it is a precision gun, and the number of rounds that you fire through a high-quality barrel can degrade its accuracy. And this is something that I'm paying attention to very carefully, because round count is something that you have to constantly monitor on 1,000-yard guns or greater. I fired about 160 through this, okay? The rifle ammunition that I fired through it was Black Hills 175 grain .308. Now, was it reliable during the testing? Absolutely. It ran flawlessly. The extractor ejector combination in that bolt is very powerful. In the fixed prone position that you saw me shooting in, it was kicking the casings a good 20 feet off to the 9 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock area, rather consistently. And is it accurate? Well, you go ahead and be the judge on this, because everyone is speculative on what accuracy is with precision rifles. Now, knowing that this is a semi-auto .308, okay, I'm going to tell you the accuracy that I got at 1,000 with it. Because at 100, this thing clover leaves, meaning my rounds are touching. But that's not really precision. That's just figuring out how the factory presets mesh with the gun. Okay, it's cool. It can shoot sub-minute of angle or sub-inch at 100. That's fine. That's not even close to the thing's capabilities, because you got a 20-inch barrel here. Reaching out to 1,000. Now, I was on a 24-inch yellow gong all day. All day. Unless I goofed up the wind or pooch fucked the shot, I was on that gong. What I was on a good 90% of the time was a 16-inch gong. Okay? And it took me 5 rounds, but I got 2 hits on a 6-inch plate at that same range. So what does this translate to? If 1 inch is 1 minute of angle at 100, 10 inches is 1 minute of angle at 1,000. Okay? 24-inch gong all day. Okay? 16-inch gong, 90%. So, okay, so now we're thinking because it's 16 inches, it's just over a minute and a half. Right? 6 inches. Okay. Now we're in 40%. So, realistically speaking, what is this capable of consistently? It's not capable of sub-minute of angle at that range because I was having issues hitting the 6-inch plate, but I could. Okay? This could mean a variety of things. I'm not the best long-range shooter on this earth. I'm not. But just from my shooting, I couldn't hit sub-minute of angle with it. Speaking of which, there is a Geisley super semi-auto trigger in here. That thing is fucking awesome. I was able to shoot 1.6 minute of angle at that range consistently, unless I bogarted the shot and fucked it up. So, just over a minute and a half, it was consistent. And then at 2.4 minutes, it was hitting all day. Is that well within the realm of a precision rifle that's a semi-auto? Well, you have to make that judgment call. Me personally, 1.6 minutes of angle at 1,000 is absolutely acceptable for the advantage that you have in a semi-auto. Okay? One other thing we got to talk about. Like I had said earlier, everything precision is heavy. Okay? I just put this thing on a scale and unloaded with the Night Force scope, the Atlas bipod, and foot back here. The thing is about 18.5 pounds. Okay? 18.5 pounds, considering that this takes a 20-round box magazine, is actually pretty damn light for a precision setup. I fucked with bolt-action rifles before that have bull barrels in them that run around with 10-round magazines and still weigh 20 pounds. So considering the fact that this is in the realm of precision, this is actually pretty light. So, final thoughts. Well, honestly, I love it. It shoots very smooth. The brake on it does great. It's light for the type of rifle that it is. And I can hit things consistently within minute of man at 1,000. Now, and if I'm shooting within 16 inches at 1,000, you can probably push the rifle further. And I have no doubt that there are other people on this planet that can shoot this thing better than me. But not even having a dope chart on this rifle, I was able to dial it in at 1,000 without too many problems because it's consistent. It's a consistent shooter. Cold bore, hot bore, dirty bore, clean bore. All of that happened because I did test this over the course of 2 days. And this thing shot phenomenally for the type of shooting that we were doing. Now, granted, we are in Florida. It's very humid. It's nice and hot. And from time to time, at distances like that, you do get something like a 5-mile-an-hour wind. Not difficult shooting conditions. But even still, in the hands of somebody who's a lot better at this than I would have no doubt that this thing could be a 1,400 or 1,500 yard line shooter without that many issues. So, guys, I'm a regular guy. I'm back. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. Show me to your friends. And I'll see you guys later. Remember, a regular guy's firearm is the last defense against tyranny.